Journaling and my life lately, reading. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I wanted to share with you my journal wrap up for April. We are now like in the second week of May, and I really wanted to share with you all like what April looks like in my journal. On top of that, I wanted to share some of my latest reads for the past week or 2 weeks, you could say, but I really wanted to share with you like what I'm doing and tabbings, because it's so, I just love tabs in my books. So I really wanted to talk about that. So first things first, let's start off with a snapshot of April. All right, welcome to April. I really enjoyed spending time journaling in my NOLTY Ecri memo notes planner here. I just really loved how my spreads looked in here. I basically used ephemera or photos that I found on Canva, using the Polaroid frames to put pictures in. And I really just found pictures that resonated with me or that really connected with me and what I was feeling or going through that week. And I really wanted to capture what I was feeling, what I was doing, inspiration, things like that. And I really have been enjoying this process. It's not overwhelming for me at all. I think this is probably like my favorite spread in the month of April. I shared it in my last video, but I love the stickers from Kiki's delivery service here. I wrote like a note there. And I went to like an anime convention with my son. I was reading some books. And I really just wanted to kind of capture everything I was doing. I read the bullet journal method and wrote down like my own key here just for memory. And I really loved how I captured everything in that week. Then this week was my mom's birthday. Really loved this week so much because I was able to capture like, you know, reading. I got a picture of her for her birthday here, going to Barnes and Nobles with her because she does love books and looking at them. And then I really wanted to like capture just moments of like peace and lighting a candle. And that's what I did here because I also am trying to fit more time where I'm doing things for myself because it's becoming a little harder. And then the week that passed here, I read 2 books. So I was really proud of myself because I wanted to share, right, what I was reading. And I was so happy because I finished up basically Heat of the Everflame. And then I read The Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry, or Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry. And I literally read that like in maybe 3 days. And the story was just like all the warm feelings, all the wonderful feelings. I read The Uncensored Picture of Dorian Gray. And this was like the first time that I read 2 books literally in a week. And then lo and behold, I wanted to kind of capture everything I was doing, and I read 3 books this week, which is really something I'm very proud of. I had to put the other 2 books somewhere in this collage because I read 3 books, and they were short reads, so I was able to read them probably in about 2 days, 2 to 3 days each. I think this book was 3 days and the other 2 was basically 2 because they were short reads. So this is really something I'm gravitating to. I really love that I'm trying to incorporate, you know, different pictures of like what I'm watching or things like that. So I started watching You, the 5th season. No spoilers, please. And I know it takes place back in New York, so I try to put a New York picture, photos. And then the books that I read, here's one of them, but I read 2 more. So this is what I kind of am going back to. I just wanted to get a good grounding on, you know, if I was going to stay in this journal, basically. I didn't want to put any pictures of things I was doing until I knew. And then I think by this week I already kind of figured out, yeah, this is becoming a consistent time for me where I enjoy kind of like journaling, and I really wanted to incorporate that. So I read, and I'll share with you now, I read If Cats Disappeared from the World, and I just love these tabs right here. These tabs are just lovely. I also read The Bell Jar, and there's like notes in here. Such a good story. There was definitely wording used in that time period, but you know, just to see where this author, Sylvia Plath, was coming from at that time was just something else. And then First Time Caller. This is like Sleepless in Seattle in a book. It is so cute. I want to get like the special edition hardcover because I love this book. Whatever the special edition hardcover is, I don't know, they don't have it out now, but I loved reading this book. It gave me like all the warm, gushy, happy feels, and I absolutely love that. So this right here, this is what my system looks like. I love tabbing. If you didn't notice, I love it. I love tabbing. I wanted to really just, you know, kind of share that when I read, I really like to engage in what I'm reading. And what I notice is that, you know, I'm also writing a lot more notes in my media journal where I read and books and everything else, and I could show you that in just a minute. But I really just like that I'm incorporating what I'm reading, what I'm watching, what I'm doing. And since I know I'm definitely staying in this journal, now I can put more like personal pictures instead of just like feelings, and kind of, you know, making it about what I want to see visually and how I want to stylize the page. I'm really trying to just capture things I'm doing. This book right here made me think about certain things. It was definitely something that brought me so much emotions and like tear jerking at the end, because if cats disappeared from the world, it's like, what would you do if one thing goes missing that the world has one at a time? And then it came down to the cat, and it has you questioning, like, you know, life and how you live it, and intentionality and how we spend time on things. I just really appreciated this one. So I didn't really give too much of a blurb, but I definitely wrote down a lot of quotes from this book because I found it so beautiful. And then this book right here, it's like I could see it totally becoming, you know, like a romance movie, as well as First Time Caller, because this is just such good storytelling. Like, I love the way that she writes the stories and she incorporates them. And this one basically had a story within a story about two writers, and the ending had me, and I did not expect that ending. So this was definitely a great read for me. These are all staying in my personal collection, because if I am tabbing it and then I decide, like, after I read a book, I want to keep it, I will definitely, you know, keep it in the personal collection that I have here. And then for my next read, I believe I'm going to read either Anna Karina, or let's see, there's another one, The Count of Monte Cristo. Now, this book is 1,243 pages. I could probably read this in 2 weeks if I read 124 pages a day. This is a chunky book, but you know what? I would love to see how this book would look tabbed all the way. And I already have like my tabs in place. And when it comes to, you know, annotating, I go ahead and write what I want to annotate for each book. Like, I don't have a system. Some people do. I don't. It depends on what book I'm reading. I just annotate according to the book. So this one's like cat, lessons learned, life and death, passing, basically human connections, observations. For Sylvia Plath, what did I put for this one? The Bell Jar. I put literary description, character analysis, historical reference, prediction. Wow. That it's something that just like, what, when it was written, I was like, what? Societal expectations, quotes. This one was funny. This one, what did I put here? This one had a lot. Love thoughts, prose, Aiden, Lucy, quotes, tension and angst, romance and love, sadness and anxiety, funny, prediction. So yeah, this one had a lot. And I was definitely like writing and putting like little sticky notes in here, just the same way as with the bell jar. Like if I really am committed and I'm really loving a book that I'm reading, I just start writing notes. So that's what I do, and I really love that method. But not least, let me make some room. I have my media slash book journal here, and I, as you can see, am already like going down the list. Now, this is not even the list of the books I read this year, but I'm super proud because last year, I think this was about the total amount of books I read. So the fact that I'm already surpassing that, I'm super proud, and I'm reading like 2 to 3 books a week, which is great now. So again, I just love the process of being able to write notes. With stories, I really like when it came to Oathbound, I wrote, you know, and Legendborn, I was writing some notes because I really enjoyed that series. Then we had, let's see, Spark of the Everflame here. I think it was like, yeah, 2 pages. Glow of the Everflame, Quicksilver, right? That was like 1 page. And then this is like when I'm brain dumping, kind of like my channel, so it's media related, so I just put it in here. Heat of the Everflame, I wrote 2 pages. And then the bullet journal method, I took away so much from that. I wrote like 4 pages of notes. And then the uncensored picture of Dorian Gray, this was another one that like I was really writing some notes in here, like just quotes and thoughts and just everything. I really went really deep with this one. And then If Cats Disappeared from the World, this one was just a whole bunch of quotes that really tugged at me, made me think. And I just really like how it did that. And of course, I do want to write like feedback or my thoughts on it. And I haven't had a moment really. This week has been really busy to kind of publish like thoughts on the uncensored picture of Dorian Gray, If Cats Disappeared from the World. But I do plan to just share my thoughts, like a review of what I was reading. And then what did I have here? First Time Caller. So this was like one, and I was totally saying it's Sleepless in Seattle vibes. And then the Bell Jar, and this was like 1 page because I wrote a whole bunch of like sticky notes in the book. So if I do write a lot of sticky notes, I kind of put like the main quotes that I took away from it, because this one was more like taking you back in time and seeing how people really like viewed things, how women were viewed, how women were treated, their expectations. And then you can see the language and kind of like the play in that and that time period. And then I have here, what is it? You. I was writing notes on You because I was like, oh, I started watching it and there's some quotes in there. And this You season, the last and final season, kind of reminds me of like very bookish content. So of course I wrote about it. And I loved it. So far. No spoilers. Again, no spoilers. So that has been my month of journaling. I'm really looking forward to sharing what next month will look like. I really do appreciate the fact that I'm just kind of really gravitating towards, you know, my style and incorporating a more permanent piece in my collection. And now I have to also write down the books I read here. So I do have to write down the latest books I finished reading, because I already stopped on Heat of the Everflame. So I will update this because this is my like book list. And I do plan to just only write down what books I read in this plan list here, because that's what I wanted to do with that. So yeah, if you have any questions or you want to know any more information, let me know. I will try to put out my reviews on these books as I'm writing notes and things like that when I can, because, you know, life gets busy. It happens sometimes, and I'm only one person, so I will definitely try to share that. But I hope you enjoyed this video, and until the next time, bye-bye.